Are you guys here? Can we see everyone? What's going on? We're gonna give it a few minutes since we had a little bit of difficulty. I can't see who's popping in. Can we get that moving?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
I see it. Okay. Let's see.
There we go. We got people coming in now.
All right, we got people coming in.
There we go. Perfect. We're back
So
up and
I
running.
know you all came in because you're very excited about my props and tools up here. Let me just tell you something, guys. I'm going to give you just a heads up. It's going to be I'm trying my best with the wig manufacturing, and I tried to fashion together anything that I had here to be able to replicate what I'm going to show you. Okay, so we'll see. Hopefully,
it'll be good.
Yeah,
it'll be good. Yeah. Thank you guys all for coming, by the way.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Yeah.
To have you. Hey, friend.
So, yeah, I mean, for those of you guys who weren't on our first live where we were experiencing some difficulties, I'm going to show. Hi, Becca. I see Becca's here. Hi. So this is Merit, as I said, in a 6'10", a little bit lighter. I'm usually like a 2'4", like 4'6", but I went a little lighter.
I like the lighter on you.
I
love it.
Grace, it's me, the OG. What's up, Texas Wig Fairy?
Oh, OG. Hey, there's my mom.
Oh! Yay, Taylor's mom.
Also, for anybody who didn't see or who missed earlier, I'm wearing Verona in the color Toffee Latte. One of my faves, I must say.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like there's a lot of people popping in. Oh, you did? You just reviewed Merit? Oh,
I'll see it.
Have to see. Denise, so that's Denise, I think. Hi. Oh, the Wig Company. Hey, Wig Company. Hey. What's going on? We're so excited to have you guys here. Yeah. I want to just wait a little bit longer because the manufacturing, I really want, people to see it from the very beginning. So we'll just give it a few more seconds, get people to come in.
Yeah. Grace and I are matching today on purpose, by the way.
Yes, very nice.
I was going to text you last night and be like, hey, let's match.
I don't know.
And then we just happened to.
I think matching with Tara is very difficult. Tara is very fashionable. I don't think I have anything that will match her stuff. But
please, so are you.
Oh, thank you. They said we both have beautiful wigs on. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl, my mom.
Aw. So, yeah, you want to get started?
Thank you guys again for joining our second live. We're so excited for today's topics. I feel like wig manufacturing has been highly requested by a lot of you. And Grace has experienced it firsthand. So we're really excited to show you guys all of that. We're also going to be going over all of our Heat Defiant colors in comparison to our regular synthetics.
And that was something that someone had requested.
Yes. So. Also another request by a few of you. And then we're also going to just show you how to take measurements of our wigs. So, these topics were requested by you. So thank you guys so much. And if you have anything that you want us to show you, please let us know. We are always looking for ideas, and we definitely want to show you guys, what you're looking for. So we're really excited.
Absolutely. So thanks so much, guys. Again, the first live was so much fun. I can't even tell you, Tara and I were so pumped after it.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to this one, particularly because, you guys requested something, and it's so exciting for us to be able to do something that you guys requested. That just makes me happy.
And this is so interesting too. It's such a
I'm really excited to tell you guys about wig manufacturing. Now, if I'm going too fast or if you have any questions, just pop in the comments. Tara's going to keep her eye on it. But I'm just going to let you guys know right now. This is very basic. This is going to be wig manufacturing 101. I've had the opportunity and privilege to visit a number of different factories overseas that manufacture wigs for not just our brand, but all the brands that are out there. And so I've learned a lot about it. And I have to tell you guys, it is an unbelievable process. The life cycle of a wig will blow your mind. I had no idea that it was
so detailed.
Yeah, this involved so many hands touch every aspect of making these wigs. And I hope that you'll be able to get that message in what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to start with, we're going to pop a little, PowerPoint show up there for you guys to take a look. And great, look at that, guys. And what I would like to start with is the very first area that I went to, and this is the bulk fiber room. Okay, so if you look at all of those boxes, every single one of those boxes contain just like a bundle of fiber. Whether it's an R2 or an R4 or whatever color it is, it's just a solid color. And there's yards and yards of it. So what they're doing in this particular room here is they are taking the bulk fibers and they're sorting them to create the colors. So every color that you have, and no matter what it is, even this, like this is 610, of course, so it's 6 and 10 and other things blended. Even like a black color, brown, whatever it might be, all of those colors, they're not solid colors. They are all blended using a number of different colors because you don't want to have sort of like this Lego snap-on felt hair. That's to give it dimension. So even something like a base color is made up of a number of different tones. And so what they're doing here is they're sorting and they're creating the colors. So once they're done, you have something called a color bundle. So looking at this picture here, you'll see completed color bundles and you'll see how they're separated. You've got some dark ones, you've got some light ones, and they're all put together because they're eventually going to create one color or a color. After they cut and sort that fiber, they take it over to something called the hackling station. This is amazing. Here in the hackling station, what you see this woman doing, can you put the other thing up please, Erin? I can't see. What you see them doing is they're taking that fiber, the bulk fiber, and they're gonna throw it through that sort of bed of needles and they'll pull it through. So I'm gonna show you, this is one of my fun ways to show you what it looks like. Okay, so we practice this. So take a look. So say this is a color bundle, right? I'm move your hand.
Yeah.
So let's do it here first. Pretend these are the bed of nails. I don't know if you guys can you see it. Yeah, the bed of nails. Yeah. So pretend this is the bed of nails. What will happen is the person will take that color bundle and they'll throw it through the bed of nails and just bring it through, and they'll do it again. Okay, Tara, if you hold it up, you might be able to see it. It might go a little bit better, so like that. And they do this, okay, about 100 times for that one bundle. And what this is doing is a couple things. First, it's helping to blend some of those fibers together. And then it also helps to weed out the weaker fibers. So what'll happen is those weaker fibers will just fall down and fall out. So
what do you mean by weaker fiber?
So like a fiber that just is not as sturdy, like it's like too short or whatever it might be. If it's just not like staying with the bundle, it'll just sort of fall through and you'll have a completed bundle. After they hackle, this is really fascinating. They go in and they sew the fiber onto the wefts. So this is the part that I tried. First of all, if you look up at those pictures, you see 1, 2, 3 sewing machines. Now, it could vary, but this is the standard. You've got those 3 sewing machines. In between each of those sewing machines, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, there's also a little sort of stamp thing that's going to help to push things down, and I'll explain that to you in a second. What you're looking at here is they have, I guess, like a little bundle of fiber, and what they do is they take that bundle of fiber and they separate it. So I'm going to show you here. This is just a little example of it. So say I have this bundle of fiber, and I'm going to do it this way because you can tell it's rooted here. They separate it so that there's an even amount of density because you want the fiber to get onto the weft as evenly as possible. So they separate it to make it more uniform and consistent. And so I saw this, and they start sewing it onto the fiber. I saw this, and I was like, oh, I can do this. I got this. I was like, let me try this. And I sat down at the sewing machine, and I pushed down on the pedal, and I pushed too hard, and so it went so fast. And then mine got chunked up, where it was like all of this was on the weft, and then there was like a gap, and then there was like a little bit more stuff. So obviously, I was not a seasoned worker, but you can see that having human hands touch things, that will allow, and that makes for some variations. So what happens on that first sewing machine? I'm going to pretend this is a weft, okay? What happens is you're going to sew, the fiber, and it sews onto this weft. And the first machine sews it in 2 places. So there's a line, it sews it right there onto that weft. And if you see right here, they make sure to leave a certain amount of hair, okay, at the edge. Really, it's about maybe like 1 1/4 to 1 3/4 of length here, and they use that as what they call the return. So it gets sewn on, and before it gets to that second machine, there's something here that clamps this over, and that's called the return. So it clamps this top part that you kept out, okay, on, it folds it over, it goes through the second machine, and the second machine takes one thread, it just kind of does one line of threading right there. And then between the second and third machine, there's another little clamp, and then it takes all of this and folds it over one more time. Then at the third machine, they sew it on, and then it gets glued. And then once that is done, Tara, she's going to show you what a completed weft looks like. So after that's done, you have something that looks like a completed weft. So you can kind of see the return here. This is actually quite a long return. It's a little over 2 inches. Maybe, and this also could be right here. Some of this was folded over too, if you could see that. And then this is the weft, and it's hard to see, but if you looked at your own wigs, you would be able to see very thin lines of where it's been sewn on. Okay?
It is really hard to see, even when you're looking up super close at it.
Yeah. So it's unbelievable. When I did this and I sewed it on, I'm not kidding you, I literally had some that were like chunked up here. There was less density here. I did not do a good job. So that's just for you guys to understand that even sewing it onto the weft, they're human hands, handling this stuff. So it's amazing to think about the precision with which these women do this. It's unbelievable. So once you have a completed weft, we will go on to the next station, which is, let's take a look. It is cutting the wefts. So they take the wefts, and whatever length they need to cut it out, whatever the specification is for that style, you can see a measuring tape, that green thing up there. They will have them cut them to the specifications. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to jump a little bit to the next image, and we'll take a look here. And we've got a little, yes. If it's not going to be wefted, it's going to be hand-tied. And you guys all know the amazing, the amazing feeling of having something that's hand-tied, right? So each individual strand is sewn in by hand onto that monofilament mesh or the lace or whatever you want to call it. But think about how amazing that is and how long it takes. So I was able to see this woman, and she was one of the best in one of the factories I was at. And you guys have to watch what she's doing. Like, look at how it's just unbelievable. One strand at a time. When I saw that, I thought to myself, like, the craftsmanship, it really gave me a different view and a real respect for wigs. Whether it's machine made, hand tied, I just have such respect for the craftsmanship. Look at her doing that and how quick she is. Right. And if you look at that, you can actually see, do you see how there's a checkerboard pattern right there? So that's a guide for her to see where to put what colors. So you can see it's sort of like a chunky color. So she's using that as a guide. So she's got light, she's got dark. Think about this. If
and that's on all like lace front, lace part, all mono top, that it's individually tied like that, right?
Individually tied like that. And think about this. You could think about the variation that may happen, small. Maybe it's even, so minute you don't notice it. But, if she ties a few more of the blonde or the few more of the, of the dark on there, it's amazing.
Yeah. So the wig company said it definitely explains why the same wig might be slightly different. Yeah. Which, it's true. They're individually created, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Deluxe Wig Shop, absolutely ventilating. True. So, this just blew my mind. So, and it takes so much time to create like one fully monofilament wig. I was told if you have like the top person who is an expert in it, probably about at least 24 hours, at least minimum. So it's amazing. Hi, Michelle. I see Michelle just joined. So the next thing, let's take a look at what happens. So we'll jump back to the wefts, and this is another piece that I'm just like, whoa. Okay, so take a look at what's happening here. Hi, Joe. You see the woman up here, she has a rod, okay? And that rod, and you see what's going around the rod, that sort of, velvety brown looking thing. It's a thin velvet tube. It's about this thin, really long. And what they do, it's amazing, okay? They take a finished weft, okay, and they take this and they shimmy that into that long, thin velvet tube. And they have to make sure that the hair is straight as they're shimmying it in. So if you guys think about this, sometimes when you have like drawstring pants or like you have like a hoodie with, strings and it falls out, right? What happens? It's such a pain to get it back in. And like you maybe take a pencil or a chopstick and you like bunch it all up and you try and pull it through. That's basically what they're doing with this. It's unbelievable, and they have to keep it straight. Absolutely. Texas Wig Fairy, I know. The handwork, looking at this, so much work. Hi, Allison. And so they take this and they shimmy that into that thin velvet tube. And they do that because whether it's a curl, whether it's straight, whatever it is, they have to set it. I call it set it and baking it, so that they set that, whatever curl patterns in there. Even if it's, every style even has just like a little bit, even a little bit of movement. And so they set that there. This is the most amazing part. So I was blown away. Take a look at that rod. So she has a rod, and you see that velvet tube, and she's taking that velvet tube. I'm just gonna pretend, right? Say this is the velvet tube. She's taking this and she's curling it. This has the weft in it. She's curling it around this tube. Why is she doing that? This particularly is to make a curly style. And you see she has a little piece of, I don't know, maybe it's like a wood chip, and she's measuring the distance. So, Tara, if you hold this for me real quick. Yeah. So every time she turns it around, she measures it. And then she measures it again, and then she turns around. She'll measure it again and turn it around to hit that area. Why do they do that? To keep the consistency of that curl. If perchance she puts it too tight up here, you're gonna get a little bit too curly. Okay, if it's wider apart, it's gonna be a little bit looser. The thing that all the factories tell me that's the worst is the beach wave. Getting that beach wave and getting that consistent has been so difficult. So think about that, you guys. Literally, each tube is just measured out to try and keep that consistency in the curl pattern.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes when you get like an Avalon, or you're like, oh, it's just it's a little bit less, it feels like a little bit curlier or a little bit less curl. There is some room for normal factory variants where it's just a little bit to this side or maybe a little bit to that side, because the understanding is it's never going to be exact when you have all of that, like just people's hands, that sort of labor going into it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be perfect.
I've said with all the hours that go into each wig, it's amazing to me how affordable they are, which I completely agree.
Yeah, we're not even close to being done, people. Okay, like this is unbelievable.
I do have a question for myself.
Yes. And when
now I understand why there's 50% variance.
Absolutely, there has to be.
Do you know how many wefts are on one specific or on one cap?
It depends on the specification. Depends. Okay. Yeah, it really depends.
Because I feel like there's a lot. So the fact that they have to do that to every single weft is just unimaginable.
Yeah, there probably is a standard of how much minimally you have, and then it depends on the style. I have to say, Leanne, I loved you, and James, I loved your post today. You look so pretty. Anyway, so moving on from the curling process. So it sits and it bakes. The next thing it goes to this is called the posting station. So we'll give it a second. Sometimes they don't want to respond to us. So we have the cap here. So this is called the posting station. So look at the cap right there. Those are caps with guidelines, because when you have a weft and you have to sew it onto the cap, okay, you want to be able to sew it in the right direction with the same amount of space in between. And so you have guides to be able to show you like where you have to sew these things on. So in the second picture right there, okay, you're seeing her sewing, posting it onto the cap. Okay, after that happens, we go to cleaning the cap. All of that white material you saw on the cap, they can pull out. Okay, so they take it and they take their time and they're pulling all of that stuff out. And then what happens is there's always little pieces here and there that might be left over that they weren't able to pull out. So what they do is they take it and they submerge it in room temperature water because it's dissolvable. And they softly scrub any of the remaining guidelines that are there. And they set it, after that, they take it out and they set it for 10 to 15 minutes to dry. I mean, think about like what's happening here, how long it takes, okay? This is also just an amazing sort of part of the whole process. And we're gonna look at the styling and finishing. This is a very important section. In this section, they get, after everything's been taken out, they get that wig and they have to style and they have to finish it. And that means that they're just looking at it and just detail oriented. You know, they can change the direction. Sometimes you have a piece of hair, you know, that's been tied and it's falling forward. So in this section, they'll see that and like, okay, I have to change the direction of it. Is it small enough that I can change the direction? It's amazing how long it can take to change the direction of even one little piece that falls forward. That's something I could show you guys if you're interested at some point. But
so they're basically just perfecting the style here. Okay.
Yes, very good. That's much better. I was trying to figure out a way to say that. And so they're changing the direction. They are, you know, any loose, long fibers. Okay, they'll cut them down, and they'll deal with curls. So normally this takes about 30 minutes to an hour. But again, beach waves, they take about an hour and a half. Why? Because they do all these things, but then they take a little strand and they take it and they curl it around their finger. So that's why you see in one of those pictures, like over there, at the very end, you could see like a blonde one with curls. She's curled every single one around her finger. Okay, to make sure that those curls are set. They set it, they put it in, you know, they curl it around the rod, but they want to make sure, and they separate each, curl it, and then they finish it off. Yeah, absolutely, Texas Wig Fairy, and this is done hundreds of times a day. Unbelievable.
The precision that it requires is just so amazing to me. You know, I mean, the fact that they do this all day long, and it has to be so like precise. And, you know, I don't know any other word to use because I feel like it's just, that's the way that it has to be. But it's really amazing, and it's so amazing how it's so individually created, each piece.
Absolutely. And I look at these pieces and I just like, I don't know, I just have so much love for them. Because I look at them and I think about,
appreciation
there's so many people who put their time and effort into making this piece a reality. Like that, for me, especially when I'm designing and they make it a reality, that just, I'm so humbled by that. You know, like we could think of like what we like or a color or a style, but they make it real. I mean, just like you guys, like the factory will make it real, we'll bring it in, and then when it gets into your hands, you guys make it, you bring it to life for us. It to me, that is like the biggest joy, is watching all of those things happen.
The life cycle of these pieces is amazing.
And how important everybody is in this life cycle.
Definitely.
From the factory to our retailers to our, you know, the people who wear the wigs, like all of you guys are such a crucial part of the entire wig making process.
They really are artists.
They absolutely.
I mean, it's amazing the skill that it takes to do this.
I know, fancy strands. I'm so glad that you love seeing the process here in this explanation. It's very minimal, but you know, the one thing I didn't do, and I'll have to take pictures for next time, is to show you guys permatease. I know permatease is sort of a bad word, but I will have. I don't have pictures of that, but they do back home, and I'll have to show you that. Next thing we look at here. The last aspect is just the heating and cooling, or the drying and the cooling. After, you know, all of that's done in the styling section, they take it and they dry it. It stays there for about 48 hours. The reason they do this is because they want to help minimize cold set. Cold set, Michelle, right? Permatease is my enemy. Cold set, as you know, is kind of like box hair. Like it because after all of this is done, it sits in a box for 30 days, 30 plus, unless it's, you know, shipped over by air. So it can take on the shape of the box. That's why everything they're doing to create the style and also to keep it in the best shape possible when you guys get this. So you have that heating, and then it goes to the cooling section. And then about 30 minutes in cooling, and then it gets packed up. Packaging is another thing. You know, packaging is so important. And we constantly are looking at it, updating, changing, because we want to minimize that cold set. I love that. You're an 80s girl. Yeah, can you back home like a pro? I like it.
So the packaging is also another part of it as well. How it's packaged up really matters, which it kind of surprises me that cold set doesn't have it. Well, it just amazes me that like if it's sitting in a box for 30 days, it doesn't get cold set, you know? So that's something that surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments like when we do our inspections, we will absolutely, there'll be many pieces that are cold set that we have to reject. But the reason I think it's much smaller is because these factories, what they do is they literally do just like experiments. They wait, they do tests on it. They'll try and simulate the heat. That when it's like 30 days in the in the boat, they do all these different tests to figure out what is the best way to pack something. I mean, obviously now with like certain short styles, you'll see the inside out. There's some standards that make it easy, but when you have a new style, that's really different. Like we had Sutton, that was just like, how do we do this? How do we get this so it comes in and it's still pinned straight? And when you guys look at Sutton and you take it out, there's so many pieces in it, right? And it took a while to get that, going. So that in a nutshell is wig manufacturing 101. Hopefully you guys understand just a little bit more about what goes into, making these amazing creations, across all the brands, like all these beautiful styles from every brand. There's a lot of love, sweat, and tears.
There's so much that goes into it. It's amazing, really.
Yes, Texas Wig Fair. We will absolutely. We'll have this on our YouTube, and we'll have this video readily available for everyone. The pantyhose, yes, that thing kills me, Allison.
Sutton, I cannot repack Suttons.
Oh yes, and Franny, I would love to show you. Especially because I just learned that like when a piece is kind of like sticking forward like this. I just learned they called it, they massage it. They massage the fiber, give it a massage. And I can definitely show you guys that. But I know there's a couple other things that we did want to talk about. So if there's any questions, please let us know. We will absolutely have this up so that you guys can view it later, share it with anybody that you want. So that's
the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have it so you guys can rewatch.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Right.
Let's get moving to the next topic.
Next topic. So we had somebody ask us to take a look at the Heat Defiant fibers versus our synthetic. We did a couple of them.
But today we're going to be doing every single color that our Heat Defiant collection comes in. So we're super excited to show you guys
really quickly. You guys saying thank you. Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm not kidding. Like whenever like I'm like, oh, I gotta get up there and like start talking. I was like, oh, and then I see you guys. I'm like, yay!
I feel like after the first one we did last month, we were like, okay, this is gonna be great. Like this, we were so nervous about it at first.
But you guys are this amazing,
and it turned out great. So it's
thank you guys. Thank you guys for all your comments. All right, so the first one we're gonna take a look at here.
This color that we're starting off with is color R4/6, which is a dark brown / golden brown blend. So this we have Brighton here in our Heat Defiant collection, and this is Ren in our regular synthetics.
Gorgeous curls here.
So as you can see, I mean, these colors are very similar, I would say. Almost exactly the same. Really the only difference I'm noticing is the shine in our regular synthetic. So this is kind of like a little bit of a muted version, but they really are very similar.
Yeah, I don't see too many, not the stark differences that you guys are, not stark, but the bigger difference you'll see when it comes to lighter colors and to rooted colors. So we'll put that away, and then we'll take a look at another base color. So again, just to hit home, this is Jet in 610, and it's just chestnut brown.
This is Vale in 610.
Vale, and then Jet, chestnut brown, medium ash brown blend, and as you look at it, very similar.
Yeah, very similar again.
Okay,
definitely.
I would say the only thing is maybe a little bit less shine, and that's about it. If you guys have any other comments, or if you think that there are differences that you pick up, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Because we're just doing it by our eyes, but more people the better at talking about stuff. This one.
Next up, we've got color R6/28F, which is a chestnut brown with a red frost. Here I'm showing 7 in our Heat Defiant, and this is Jessica in our regular synthetic. So this one, I would say, this is where the variance starts a little bit. The colors are just deeper. So like the brown in this, I think, is a little bit deeper. The highlights are a little bit lighter. So that's where you can kind of see the difference in the heat-friendly fibers, I would say.
Yeah, I would say that you see a little bit more of a contrast, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because like Tara said, this 6 is a little bit deeper, a little richer. The 28 here, frost is a little bit brighter than you see on this piece here.
But still pretty similar, you know, I mean, it's not crazy different, I would say.
And I have to say that I just saw Alice today. She posted 7 and I was blown away. I know that I wrote to you, Alice, and I said, like, literally so glam, so gorgeous. I was blown away. So thank you for showing 7.
Yeah, the HD colors look more dynamic and dimensional. I would agree with that, definitely.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's a good way
Richer,
to put it.
perhaps absolutely loving with life. Richer. I think that's a good way to say that.
Next up, we've got the color 826, which is a golden brown with gold blonde highlights.
Wait, I also say that Becca said they're coming through with a bit more red. I would say that that
yeah.
auburn, that 28's a bit brighter in that red. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. So again, we have Brighton, and is this violet?
I think it's Ranigan.
Oh, Ranigan. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you said that perfectly. They're more dimensional. You can kind of see the highlights a bit more. They're a little bit lighter in contrast to the base color of the Heat Defiant. Yeah, which it's really shown nicely on the video here.
Absolutely.
And then again, like just a little bit more shine with the regular synthetics.
Absolutely.
It's really pretty.
Gorgeous color. All right.
Okay.
Next one.
This color we've got is Caramel Kiss Rooted. Oh wait,
Let's put
switch
it
them.
this way.
I've got the Heat Friendly.
Caramel Kiss Rooted.
Caramel Kiss Rooted, yes. So Caramel Kiss Rooted is a golden brown with copper blonde highlights and dark brown roots. Definitely one of our most popular colors.
The highlights are popping. You're right, Allison. Look at that. I love it. I personally love it. I think it looks gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
I also do like a thing where I definitely like to just shake a wig out and give it air and see if it kind of you still have lots of good highlights in there.
Yeah, and the roots, I would say, is a little bit lighter.
Yeah, it does look a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
And guys, I have to say that roots are very, very hard when it comes to the Heat Defiant across all brands. You know, I've noticed sometimes you see, it's really hard. Sometimes you do see a little bit of bleeding. I don't see it on here. Yeah, with the roots. Sometimes you'll see a little bleeding. And it looks a little bit lighter, I would say. If you guys take a look, maybe you could take a look and see. It feels a little bit lighter here in this root.
It's still very natural looking though.
It is. I actually almost like it better.
I know.
I might not. I actually almost like it better. So take a look at that. We'll give you a little side view.
Yeah.
I love that. Allison, I'm going to say the highlights are popping. Look at that. Okay. All right. All right. Our next set. All right, James. We got our gorgeous James
into
here.
the blondes here. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry.
I'll put this over here.
Okay, so this is the color R12/26CH, which is a light brown with a chunky blonde highlight. So, you know, it's funny. This I'm like seeing the highlights a little bit
The chunks
more.
a little bit more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
in the regular synthetic versus James the Heat Defiant. But I feel like with the blondes, this is where you're really going to start noticing the difference in colors a bit more. This is definitely lighter. That's definitely, you know, just, you can see the base color a bit more, I would say. But still such a gorgeous color.
It is.
I think.
You know, and it's funny because, as I say, you know, depending, like, you have, these both come from the same factory. So all the brands work with multiple factories, right? And this comes from the same factory, and they did 1226CH. So it's interesting to see, like you noted, like this you see a little bit more of the chunk than you do here. You know, I don't know why. I mean, then also, I mean, I guess, no, they're also the same cap construction. You have mono, and you have lace.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yep.
But it translates a little bit less, well, maybe the side is chunky. Sorry.
Yeah.
I keep going back and forth, you guys. I apologize.
I mean, I feel like they're just so dimensional that when you look at them, it's almost like different every time you see them.
That's true.
You know,
I would agree with you.
Your eyes just catching different things the more you look at them.
So that is 1226 CH. We are going to move on to 1488 rooted.
Yes.
Ooh, who do we got here? This lady. Ooh, Jessica. Okay, let's shake her out. Give her a little love here.
Over here we've got 7.
Love these curls.
Oh, yeah.
Guys. Look at this. Woo.
Big,
Yes.
voluptuous curls.
Yes,
Love
I'm
it.
loving it.
So this color is a dark blonde with lighter blonde highlights, and then we've got a golden brown root to it as well.
And I would say the root is lighter.
Yes,
in tone.
definitely.
You guys take a
I would
look at
agree.
this. I don't know if that shows it that well, but it has a little bit of a lighter sort of more golden brown than this root here. Yeah, it's
The
a little
Heat
bit lighter.
Defiant's a bit warmer to me as
Mhm,
well
mhm.
than the regular synthetics.
You know what's also interesting, thinking about cap construction, guys, like, you know, it does also translate a little differently because this is hand tied, it's the lace part, versus you have here machine made. You've got that lovely permatease here that everybody loves. But I think it just the color could translate a little differently also because of that cap construction,
Interesting.
possibly. But yeah, I mean, this is a fabulous color. I
Yeah.
love
It's a great
1488.
blonde.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, and definitely lighter. Absolutely.
Okay, next up we've got another rooted blonde.
We got
So-
Lachlan over here.
This is going to be a light brown with a chunky golden blonde highlight and a dark brown root.
1226
Yes.
RT4. Okay, and this one I think the roots look pretty spot on.
Yeah,
If
this
you guys
is
take a
pretty
look at the root,
similar.
I feel like you can definitely see they're very similar.
Yeah,
And I think interestingly enough, this is pretty similar in terms of the color.
It really is.
Yeah, I
It's
think
so
it is.
interesting, like the difference in some of the blondes.
Oh, you guys, just wait till we get to Silver Sun. That's next. I'm gonna say there's a difference. Okay,
There is
so
quite the difference.
let's take a look. And I'm gonna tell you that we work really hard at the factory to try and get it exactly the same. But like I was telling you, particularly with the lighter colors, it's the lighter colors are harder to work with for them, especially with rooting in the polyester or the heat resistant fibers. So taking a look at this, yeah, Silver Sun. Yeah, this is Brighton.
The infamous Silver
Okay,
Sun.
and this is Ren again.
Ren again,
Yeah. So yeah, Franny, absolutely. There's definitely a difference here in the Silver Sun. I would have to say that one of the things is that the root. Sorry, hair in my face. The root is a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more warmth to the
Definitely.
heat resistant silver. Is there
Mhm.
like a piece of hair in my face? Can you help me? I need help, people.
I think we're good.
SOS.
there.
SOS.
Oh, wait, I see it. I see the piece of hair. There we go. Does that feel
good.
better?
Yeah, that feels better. Thank you. SOS. I know, Kelly, right? Like the difference is like it's so weird. Like almost
Yeah.
it almost people thought that it almost looked like a little bit like lighter sunlit, you know? Yeah,
It
Joe.
does,
I
yeah.
actually really I said that too. I looked at it, I was like, I actually like the HG Silver Sun better than the regular. I agree.
I like the caramel kiss better in the Heat Defiant than the regular synthetic.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit lighter.
I mean, I think this Silver Sun also has a place because it's like icy,
Oh, definitely,
you know.
yeah,
But this has like a
absolutely. It's so
soft, sort of
beautiful.
softer, warmer feel to it.
It's almost like a completely new color.
Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, you still have. I mean, you can still see. But the thing is, on this side, you can still see those pieces of light.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
yeah.
and a little bit of
It
that.
definitely has some ice to it still.
Yeah.
Just a little bit warmer and not as shiny.
Yeah.
But
All right.
gorgeous nonetheless.
Okay. Next one, guys. The last
Next
one.
up,
Yay! Here we go.
we've got our chrome rooted 1B.
I love this color.
So here we
Such a
have
fantastic
Veil.
color.
And here we got Jet.
Yeah, Jet, my favorite, one of my favorite. I think these are pretty similar, I'd have to
Mhm.
say. I feel like the regular synthetic's a little cooler. I don't know, is it just me?
No,
I feel like
I
it feels a
agree.
little cooler. What do you guys think? I think
Yeah,
the-
it's like a little bit icier.
I think the roots are pretty spot on.
definitely.
But I feel like there's a little bit of a little icier feel in this one
Yeah.
over this. What I like about this is I see in chrome there's almost like a weird kind of funky cool brownish khaki tint or something, and I see that a little bit more in this one than in this one.
Yeah.
And I really like seeing that. Like I wish I could show you guys, but like there's a little bit of that same brown that's in here that's here but not as much. It doesn't pop out as much.
Which really makes me think about when they're producing these just the bundles of hair,
Mhm.
like all the different bundles that they
Yeah.
have to use to do it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's so much detail. It's so interesting.
It is. It's fantastic. It's just a fantastic process. I don't think I did it justice though. Anyway, oh, thank you, Alice. I appreciate it. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is someone had asked us, how do you guys do wig measurements? Okay, and I have to say that I think that's a great question. And I think that there can be some variances on how people do this. Oh, you're so welcome, Kelly. Thank you for making Vale look so cute with all your little accessories. So I'm gonna start with, I guess we start with the bang. So the bang. It's so funny. When I first started working here, I was like looking up measurements. I watched Patty's curls. I love Patty's curls. She's like, B is for bang. And I watched, I was like, this is great. Like, she was so thorough. And that's kind of how I modeled, looking at, how I measure my wigs here. So the bang is this front piece, okay? And so what you'll do is, the way we measure here, we'll take that piece, okay? And then what I do, if you can hold it up there, Tara. What I actually do is I actually do extend and pull that fiber, because some people might just let it sit like that. But for me, technically speaking, the actual technical length of it would be about maybe 5.5, 6. So that's how I would do it. I would pull it. That's bang.
That's bang. Yeah. So when you're looking at the product details, these are the measurements that we're talking about.
Yeah, that
the length of hair all around, so you can kind of get a feel for how it's gonna look on you.
And it's so hard that sometimes even in like this, like in the bang, there's like little shorter pieces, but I always go by the longest piece of the bang. For side, I take it right here where that ear tab is. So if you see where the ear tab is, so I will take that there. So Tara, can I have you hold this right onto that ear tab? And so let me pull this down a little bit more. Okay, perfect, right about there. And then I will pull this hair out, and then I will measure it. And again, like this could go anywhere. I mean, probably about 6, I would say. Hopefully this actually matches what's up on our website.
We have 7. 6
okay.
and a half to 7.
And then here we've got
from the crown
up here. All right, so I'm gonna ask you to hold that down there. Actually, it's got to go a little further down. So I have to put it right up against that lace.
Oh, I see.
So if you hold this at that zero
I didn't
mark,
realize the
right there. Oh, that might be
measuring
why.
tape started a little bit.
Yeah, that might be a reason
longer.
why. And this one, if I pull it, you could even get up to 9 a little, or
yeah. So like the longest piece.
The crown, yeah.
8.5 to 9.
Yeah. And then nape. Looking at this, I take it from exactly where the nape is here, and then if you want to hold this, let's take a look, and then we'll just hold and pull. Oops, we're on centimeters, guys. Wrong metric unit. Okay, and then that's about a little like 5.5, 6-ish, around there, in that area. Okay. Yes, we are. So I actually do stretch the curl, because if I'm thinking about how long that actual strand is, I'm thinking about that actual strand of hair, right? Becca, so I pull that, because that's the length of that fiber that's on there. But that's why, it might be, if somebody wants to measure it a different way, that's fine. I think people can measure it without pulling it, but that's just kind of what we do. Are there any questions that you guys have for us?
Any questions for us?
And then also, not just questions, but what else would you guys like to see? Is there anything else that we can talk about, particularly for our next month's live?
A lot of people were saying, I saw some comments for the permatease. So I think that's definitely something, that's a topic we'll definitely make a focus on.
I mean, permatease is a necessary evil, I mean, yes, it's really annoying, but what it does, particularly with the machine-made styles, is that it helps to hide that weft. If you don't have that permatease, then you are going to literally see all that weft. Let me see if I can grab a piece. Let me see if there's a Jessica.
There's a check here.
Where's the 620 Jessica? Okay, I'm going to show
Some
you.
people love permatease though.
Yeah, and permatease covers the weft. It hides the weft, but it also allows to create volume. So I'm going to show you something. I mean, this, for example, this has been sort of in our showroom for a bit. So a lot of that permatease has sort of died down. But if you look here, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's that weft that's showing because there's not enough permatease to cover up this area. So you see this weft that's exposed. And so, and this has also been sitting out for quite some time, but if you guys look at that, you can see that weft showing. And that's one of the things that whenever we do, our inspections, I'm always looking to make sure, is that weft covered? Sometimes permatease can go too much too. And again, it's somebody is doing it by hand. They're backcombing. They have a weft, they hold it down, they backcomb it.
Right.
And sometimes you'll get you may get a huge chunk of permatease in one area, and it looks like it's gone, it's run amok. Denise, you're absolutely right. Measurements are so hard. Some stretch it out, some they don't. Yeah, I agree. So heavily layered pieces are so hard too. I don't really know where to go sometimes, right? Yeah, and definitely box hair. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen some comments for box hair and how to deal with that. So that would be interesting to go over.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. There's only so much that I can do. Like particularly, and I hate when you get that piece that's like this, right? Or if it's supposed to lay if this one's supposed to lay like this, it comes forward here and it lays like more like this. We can there's definitely things that you guys can do, but it's gonna take time. And you have to have patience, and I can show you. So stay tuned, okay? I'm gonna keep you guys in suspense, okay? Next up on our series, all right? You're gonna have to tune in next time. I keep you guys captive. So I'll definitely do that. We'll take a look next time. I will get everything set up. I will pull some things that I have cold set from our inspections, and we'll work to that. Let's see, maybe some solutions that we can fix to reduce returns. Yeah. Errant strands that are sticking out. Oh, Becca, those are the worst, And there's going to be some that are going to stick out, absolutely. But then if there's too much, then, it's not that normal variance, right? And I hate saying this, but sometimes, dealing with permatease, if you have a huge hunk of it, if you're good with steaming can help, but you have to be careful because if you steam that permatease out, it falls and you see the weft. Right. So, let's, I guess that's it. So guys, please let us know, DM us, make comments, let us know if there's anything else you want us to talk about, and we will make sure to put it on the list. And for those of you guys who gave us your suggestions for this time at our live, thank you so much for engaging with us.
And thanks for joining today.
All of you.
I really hope you liked this.
Thank you so much.
We will have it, like we said, we're going to record everything and have it posted. So in case you missed anything or want to send it to anybody, you are more than welcome to do so.
Yeah, and you guys, I have to say, we can't, Tara and I can't thank you enough. And all of the brands, I feel like, can't thank you guys enough.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are our motivation. Seeing this has already given me, now I'm so ready to go back to work. I don't even need coffee.
I don't know.
You guys are my
keep
caffeine.
Doing this and keep talking to everybody.
I know. So I just, you guys are the reasons that, the reason we're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
The people, definitely. The wig wearing community, we couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, and it's so fun connecting with you all.
I think it's one of the best parts.
Oh yeah, definitely. Why didn't we do this sooner?
I know, guys. Thank you
you guys so much,
and we can't wait to see you next time. Okay.
All right. Bye everybody.